I'd like to call the Livingston County Board meeting of September 14th at 6 p.m. to order. I'm going to make one amendment to the agenda. Mr. Barackman is not here tonight, so the Pledge of Allegiance will be done by Gerald Ehring. So with that being said, I'd like to have an invocation by Pastor Randy, Victor Randall. I call him Randy. Come on up, Randy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Did you have a good summer? And sorry you got to be indoors tonight. And happy birthday, Mr. Carlisle. So, but thank you for the opportunity to pray over your meeting. And so, Lord, Creator of heaven and earth and all living things, we thank you for these men and women who are leading and overseeing our county. And God, just bless them tonight with unity. And God, just give them one mind. And I just pray that you would bless every man, woman, young person, and child that calls Livingston County home. God, we thank you that the whole earth is full of your glory, which means that you're right here this evening, leading and guiding this meeting. God, your word declares in Matthew 6:33, it says that if we seek first your kingdom and your righteousness, all these things, like food, clothing, material things, will be added to us. And Philippians 4:19 says that you will supply all of our needs according to your riches and glory. So God, help us to focus on you, to trust in you, and to live for you. May rivers of living water flow out of our hearts as we serve our families and communities and churches. Help us to be the citizens that you've called us to be by loving one another, serving one another, and respecting one another. It takes a healthy individual and family to create healthy communities, which in turn will help us to live in a healthy county. God, the fall season is upon us. We pray that you would bless the harvest, our schools, our businesses, and our people. God bless Livingston County. God bless Illinois, and God bless America. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Randy. Now we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance led by Gerald Ehring. Roll call, please, Christy.
Vietti.
Here.
Haig.
Here.
Fair.
Present.
Manker. Present. Barackman. Ambrose. Here. Fannin.
Present.
Myers.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Mays.
Here.
Weller.
Here.
Bitstam.
Here.
Blackard.
Present.
Ehring.
Here.
Welch.
Present.
Carly.
Present.
Lovell.
Here.
Ritter.
Thank you, Christy. I'll need a motion to approve the agenda in a second.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Manker,
Second by Fannin.
second by Fannin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I'll need approval of the minutes. We have actually two sets of minutes to approve, our board minutes from last month and the minutes from the public hearing that we just had.
Motion to approve by Fannin.
Motion to approve by Fannin,
Second by Weller.
second by Weller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have no presentations.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
don't forget the training sessions that were held. There's minutes for those as well.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay, so
The
we
motion
need,
stands.
the motion stands. So-
Second stands.
Okay, so now we have three sets of minutes, I guess. I thought there were two. I apologize. So we'll start over. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Actually,
Aye.
there's, yeah.
Okay, four sets of minutes then. Okay,
A motion still stands. Stands.
all right. Okay, I'm glad I'm getting this information early. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion, same sign. Okay, all the minutes are approved now, all four sets. Thank you, ladies. Okay, no presentations I'm aware of, no appearances I'm aware of. So we'll move to consent agenda. Approval of the bills, acceptance of the Dyson report on the local government efficiency, Flanagan Library.
Motion to approve by Fannin.
Motion approved by Fannin, second by Aaron. Roll call vote, please.
Beatty?
Yes.
Haig?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Manker?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fannin?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Weller?
Yes.
Fitstum?
Yes.
Blackard?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Okay, let's move to the action agenda committee reports. Ag and Zoning Committee, Gerald Aaron, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we have in front of us three action items, and the first one is the Stephen Farm subdivision, which is case SF-1-23. Jesse's going to explain this to us a little bit. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, so this is a subdivision case, final plat of subdivision, known as SF-1-23, Stephen Farm subdivision. The parcel in this case is located, on the south county line down by Cropsey. The applicants in this case owned a soil lab testing business for many years, and they're getting to a point where they're ready to retire. And their names are Herb and Georgia Stephan, and they're getting to a point now where they're ready to retire and sell the business. The business sits on the same property as their house, which is just over 5 acres, and they found a buyer for the business, but the buyer for the business is not interested in purchasing the home with the business. Therefore, they're wanting to split in half, essentially, rectangular shaped lot that's just over 5 acres into two just over 2.5 acre pieces. That way they can sell the business on its own piece of property, and then I think for now they're going to hold on to the farmstead, and probably I believe they have intentions to sell that in the future as well once they get to a point where they're ready to move on from there. It was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission as well as the Ag and Zoning Committee unanimously, and so here it is before you guys.
Okay, any questions for Jesse? Motion to approve. I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, second by, was that Haig? Becca? Thank you. Any discussion? No discussion? Christie, roll call, please.
Beatty?
Yes.
Haig?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Manker?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fannin?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Weller?
Yes.
Fitstum?
Yes.
Blackard?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next case we have for an action item is case SU-7-23, the Beckham Solar LLC. Jesse, would you like to explain it? We have representative here tonight, too.
So this is zoning case SU-7-23, it's Beckham Solar. Owner of the business of the project is Ironwood Renewables. It's a proposed 5 megawatt solar farm on approximately 66.7 acres, which is located on a 139.38 acre tract. And it's located in an AG agricultural district in unincorporated Odell. The subject parcel in this case you have in your packets, you can get a better idea of where it's located at. It's just north of Odell, off of Route 66 and Interstate 55. This solar farm in particular initially had proposed battery storage, and with the battery storage, they had it was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission and the ZBA. However, once it got to the Ag and Zoning Committee, there was some discussion and some concerns over the battery storage, and since our new ordinance doesn't have anything in it regarding battery storage, there were some concerns about it. And so after consulting with Andy Kite, our attorney, he stated that it was possible to recommend approval for it without the battery storage. And so the applicants in this case submitted a letter agreeing that they were willing to drop the battery storage in this case. And so at our meeting just a little bit ago, this case was recommended for approval. without the battery storage. And so that's all I've got for this one.
Any questions?
What was the vote, Jesse?
What's that?
Was it unanimous at the zoning?
No,
ZBA?
it wasn't. We had 2 missing, so it was 5 to 1, or 1. Yeah, we had 1 nay, but we had
4.
2 missing, so it was 4 to 1. 4 to 1 recommendation.
Questions for Jesse or the applicants? Motion to approve?
Yep.
Oh, back up.
First, Jesse, thank you for all your hard work in the zoning administrator's office. We're gonna miss you.
Thank
In the ag zoning meeting, I think, I'm sorry, sir, what's your name? Keith, there was a couple Keiths in there, so I was a little bit confused. You had told us that you guys were planting 4-foot trees, is that correct? Okay, did you apply for a variance as it pertains to the ordinance in section G on screening and fencing?
We didn't apply for a variance.
You did not? Okay, so are you planning on building them on berms, since our ordinance says the entirety of the commercial solar energy facility shall be enclosed in a living buffer of evergreen trees that must be planted and maintained prior to construction and will meet or exceed the height of the solar panels and all facilities, equipment, including the fencing. So since you're only planting 4-foot trees, will you be applying for a variance on that, or a variance to build a berm to plant these 4-foot trees on?
I'll let Michael Keith, our engineer, probably do this.
Michael Keith?
Yes. Keith's the last name.
Okay, okay.
So we're fully intending to meet the intent of that ordinance. It's my interpretation that it says will meet or exceed, but there's no timeline. So the point of the 4-foot high trees is that's what we typically plant, are the smaller immature trees, and then when they mature, they hit 15 to 20 feet, which will meet or exceed the requirements of that ordinance. So when we get the final engineering, we'll work with the zoning administrator to make sure that requirement is met, and we'll work with a landscape architect to provide evergreen trees that will meet that ordinance with working with the zoning administrator.
But these trees should be that height prior to construction.
And that's why I want to meet with this. We'll meet the intent. I mean, that plan was done before when we submitted it. I didn't meet with the zoning administrator, and I will meet with the zoning administrator and make our submittal. But I mean, I'm interpreting that it says it will meet. So I mean, it's like we have to have 15-foot trees at construction when they're installed. Because the concern with that is like 15-foot trees, their survival rate goes down as the taller the trees are when they're planted. So that's why I want to meet with the zoning administrator. So we'll meet the intent and what the administrator interprets that requirement to be. So I mean, that's what the interpretation that we need to get.
I would suggest you take it back to the ZBA and apply for a variance.
I mean, we'll plant 15-foot trees if that's what absolutely required.
My name's Kyle Berry, I'm the attorney for the applicant. I think that requiring a height, minimum height, or a restriction or requirement at this time is not supported by the language in the ordinance. The ordinance, as Ms. Fair read correctly, states that the height of the vegetation must meet or exceed the height of the solar arrays before construction. I don't think there's it says nothing about 4 feet or a minimum of 5 feet, 6 feet, 15 feet at this time. I think at this point they're seeking a special use permit, and the focus should be on the use. And since there's no minimum requirement in the ordinance, imposing a requirement like that at this time, I think would be beyond the authority that's in the ordinance. This is really like a state statute. So I think the point of measuring that is the point of construction, which is what the language of the ordinance states, and I think that's the appropriate time for them to demonstrate that the vegetation is sufficiently high enough to for the height of the panels. And as I think they testified previously, they haven't selected those panels yet, so as Mr. Keith just indicated, they'll work that out when they apply for a building permit, which is perfectly appropriate for, at that time. Right now, we're just seeking a special use, an entitlement, if you will, to get them into the next gate, which is at the building permit stage, when they have to show that they've demonstrated all requirements necessary for construction.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, motion to approve? Motion by Haig,
I'll second it.
second by Lovell. Any discussion? No discussion? Christie, will you call for the motion?
Vietti,
Yes.
Haig,
Yes.
Fair,
No.
Manker,
Yes.
Barrickman, Ambrose,
No.
Fanning,
No.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
No.
Mays,
No.
Weller,
Yes.
Fidstem,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ritter. 11 ayes
Thank
and
you,
5
Christie.
nays.
Thank you. Okay, the next we have is the review of the decommissioning plans for the previous approved solar farms, and I do believe those were back in 2018.
Yeah, so again, you guys have seen these before. It's complying with the condition of the approval of the previous solar farms. One of the conditions is that prior to getting a building permit, they have to come before the zoning board of appeals and the county board to get approval of their final decommissioning plans, and as well as the decommissioning bond. So in this case, there's two. One of them is Vermilion Solar 1, and the other one is Mia Comet Solar. I'll just go start with the first one, Mia Comet Solar. They've already submitted a $135,000 bond, and they were issued a building permit. However, there was an issue that came up where they had tried to submit a new figure of $180,000 because they had per the ordinance, they're required every 3 years to submit a new decommissioning plan, which would include a new decommissioning figure. In this case, they tried to do that, and they were told by the zoning office at the time that they did not need to do that, and so they accepted that. However, we told them that we would go ahead and accept their new figure of $180,000, and they've agreed to submit an additional letter of credit for the difference of $135,000 and $180,000, so it's $45,000. So they're agreeing to submit another letter of credit to make up for that difference from the original amount to the new amount that they came up with, to cover the full cost of what they had come up with for a decommissioning plan. It's a 2 megawatt solar farm, proposed to be built just a few miles east of the Woodland School on 17. The property owners are Kyle Apple is one of their names. I can't remember all the other owners, but it's just off of Route 17.
Can I ask one question, Jesse?
Yes.
What was the cause for the increase in their decommissioning cost estimate?
That I don't know. I mean, it was just a reevaluation from 2018 to 2023 costs, or 2022, I think, is when they had the new figure drawn up. Cost of decommissioning could have been, labor, cost of labor, or I don't know.
It actually makes sense. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions for Jesse?
The operating company and or landowner have 6 months, and then the county, where they just call the bond and say it's got to be cleaned up to either one of those two, the operating company or the landowner.
So what's your question?
how would I put it? If after 6 months, the county calls, it's not we're responsible for anything, it's just the county calls the bond up and says, hey, you guys have to clean it up.
Yeah, the idea of them putting a letter of credit on file with the county is to say, you know, if we, the company, don't clean it up like we're supposed to, we are giving you the funds that we believe it costs for this to be decommissioned. Therefore, the money is coming from that letter of credit rather than out of the county's pocket.
Any other questions? Okay, motion to approve. I'll make that.
Myers has a question.
Do we have anything on our side as a checks and balances for that dollar amount figure instead of just accepting what they think it might cost?
No, I mean, we don't. It's typically a third-party firm that does the engineering and the cost estimate. I mean, you could say, I mean, they're able to pick what firm they want, but at this time, we don't have anything that would say that we,
Checks and balances.
right, yeah, we don't have something that says that we get our own figure drawn up to compare with theirs. And, you know, one could argue that if you consult with 5 different firms, they're gonna come up with 5 different figures, and it's gonna, you know, that's just kinda how it goes, yeah.
Any other questions?
Jesse, who's ultimately responsible for the cleanup?
Ultimately, it's the company's responsibility to decommission it.
Okay, they
But
if the bond doesn't cover it, then what?
then, if, you know, whatever's left over, then it would be, I would imagine it would probably go to court, but
Okay,
yeah.
all right, thank you.
If
This
it
bond
is.
has to be updated every 3 years.
And that's another thing, is part of our ordinance requires them to submit a new figure every 3 years throughout the life of the project. Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, the letter of credit, the idea is for the county not to be financially responsible to have it decommissioned. Yeah. I would imagine that's how it would play out, yes. But we haven't gotten to that yet, so.
Becca?
Bill, that part you read, did it say the company or the landowner is responsible? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, again, anybody else? Motion to approve? I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second by Linda.
Okay.
Okay,
Who was the second?
Linda?
And that was Miacom?
Yeah, make comments.
Yep. And do we have any more discussion? Okay, Christie, can you call for the word, please?
Beatty?
Yes.
Haig?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Manker?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Bannon?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Runyon?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Weller?
Yes.
Vidstem?
Yes.
Blacker?
Yes.
Herring?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Lovell?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Got a number there, Christie, or we're good?
Pardon me?
Do you have a count, or do you want
Oh, it was unanimous, 16 ayes,
to? Okay, thank you.
2 absent.
The only thing I had left was,
There's another's two.
where's the other one at?
Vermilion Solar.
Vermilion Solar one.
Oh, there should be 2 of them, okay.
Yeah, there's 2.
Sorry about that, Jeff.
No, it's okay. So this other one, Vermilion Solar one, it's going to be built, the proposed location is in Pontiac Township, just south of town here. It's Ledford ground, I believe. Again, it was approved in 2018. The decommissioning bond at the time of approval was estimated to be $135,000. They reached out to us and told us that the new figure that they drew up was less than that, but they were willing to keep the figure at $135,000 just so, you know, they didn't want to give us less than what was initially approved. So they were willing to submit the $135,000 that was initially approved back in 2018. So it was unanimously recommended for approval at both levels. And so,
Questions for Jesse?
Move to approve.
Michael?
Motion by Blacker.
Oh, we're making a motion? Okay. Second, okay, discussion. Christie, call for the roll.
Vieti,
Yes.
Haig,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Weller,
Yes.
Fitstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
16 ayes and 2 absent.
Okay, thank you, Christie. Okay, one other thing to come in order for the committee, we had a recycling day scheduled for November 4th from 9 to 1 at the Kmart parking lot for the e-recycling. And remember, please, no batteries, no speakers, just computer products and stuff. That's all I have to report, Pat.
Thank you, Chairman Herring. We'll move to Highway Committee. Steve Lovell, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Carley. We've got 3 action items tonight. We've got an engineering agreement, we've got a bridge petition, and we got a resolution. And Clay's at the microphone, so Clay, if you want to walk through them. And after that, I'll give them a building report.
Sounds good. So we have an engineering agreement for a County Highway 3 bridge just north of campus. It's phase 2 design, and we're going to do a replacement of that structure. It's scheduled for possibly next year, and so we're working through that engineering agreement right now. It's fairly far along already because we had to get size, type, and make decisions around the replacement of that structure. We're doing the superstructure only. The second item is a bridge petition for township line between Charlotte and Chatsworth. We have 2 culverts that we're replacing with 2 more culverts at an estimated cost around $10,000. The third item is a resolution for a cost share agreement with Edwards Point Road District, the county, and VCNA, Prairie Materials, at 1,000 North and 1,600 East. This is just securing the division of costs through the engineering and construction of that project.
Has anybody got any questions on any of these items? Seeing no questions? Gina? We can if there's no questions. We okay, Alina? Okay, all 3 by Gina. Second by Dan Myers. Call the roll, Christie.
Vieti,
Yes.
Haig,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Manker,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
Yes.
Weller, Fitstum,
Yes.
Blackard,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes,
16 ayes and 2 absent.
thank you, Clay. A brief building report right now. I drove through the lot tonight. And the fuel storage is done. The tanks are set. The fence is up. Nicor's done. Yeah. ComEd's done. Outside. The electrician now, he's inside installing some lights. It's going a little slow, okay? The water's done. And the new moore's doing fine. So, that's about all I have. And our completion date is October 1st, plus or minus some days.
Yep.
Salt shed is also done. I forgot that. So, if you get a chance, we need to tour that out there and look at where our dollars have went. It's an impressive thing. So.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to everybody. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Lovell. We'll now move to Finance Committee. Marty Fannin, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've got one action item to come before the committee, or before the board tonight. resolution for anti-displacement and relocation plan. This is something that we needed to have in place for the grant that we had the public hearing on earlier. Alina, do you want to?
No, there's, it's just required as part of the grant. It basically says that if you tear down any type of housing as part of, with your grant funds, then you agree to put those back. Since you're not tearing anything down, then you're just fine.
Right.
So
And we were under the impression that we probably had done this
it could have
40,
been
50
done.
years ago, but
A lot of the counties did these in the 70s when the programs, the CDBG was first enacted. But I'll be honest, I did not take the time to go look in the basement then in the 70s. So this was just easier.
all right. So I'll make a motion to approve that resolution. Second by Ehring. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Vieti.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Weller. Vidstem.
Yes.
Blacker.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
16 ayes.
2 absent.
Correct.
The only other thing that I have, we have a special meeting Wednesday, the 27th at 5:30. We had a couple of bits of the budget that weren't quite finished. We had to send something back to mental health to get it fixed, and we were waiting on the approval of public health, which should be done now. So we're going to meet and get that wrapped up for display for next month. So 5:30. Yep. And Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Fannin.
Wait a minute. Is it 5? Okay. I
5
had
o'clock?
5:30 written down. 5 o'clock. I apologize. I would have too.
Okay, thank you
That
again,
would've been a
Chairman
problem.
Fannin. Let's move to Sheriff's Jail and License Committee. Bob Weller, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report was in your packet. The sheriff gave his usual monthly reports, et cetera, and the jail report was given by the superintendent. I'm not going to go into detail on them this evening because I know there may be some questions out there. So I'm going to yield my time after we do this resolution for holiday schedule. I'm going to yield my time to the sheriff. The only thing I've got for you is the resolution for an action item on the holiday schedule for this coming year. So I would need a motion for that, which I will make myself.
Second.
And that was Mr. Blackard?
Yes.
Second by Blackard. All right, is there any discussion or questions regarding the holiday schedule which was in your packet? Hearing none?
A voice vote.
Huh?
Voice vote.
Can we do voice vote on this one?
Excuse me.
Gina?
I just had one thing, for those people that didn't know what the holiday schedule change was, it was just adding election day.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a mandated?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the judges tell us what to do.
I think the
All right.
state actually told them.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. All right, let's call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And Sheriff, if you, obviously there have been some questions the past couple of days. If you would like to address the issue, the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, everybody. As everybody's probably well aware, a couple months ago, we had examined an area down on Timber Street with ground penetrating radar, following up on a lead from the 1983 Edwards homicide. We took several months to get the results back. When we got that data back, the data showed an anomaly in one section of one of the buildings. Yesterday, we went down and excavated that area after issuing a search warrant for the residents, as well as having the full cooperation of the owners of the property. After excavating the area, There was nothing located, there was no human remains, there was no evidence of any kind located. It appears that it was an area where the dirt had just settled and it left a void underneath the concrete. So we ended up with a lot of excitement and nothing to show for it. Anyone with any questions? Yeah, it's very disappointing. We were pretty excited about the possibility.
But it does show we're still working the case.
And we will continue to follow up any leads we get.
Yeah, and I think John Q. Public appreciates that. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Weller. We'll move to public property. John Vidstam, Chair.
This guy has regular maintenance on all of our buildings, and we're going to have a meeting with the hot water company for the jail before next month's meeting. That's all I have.
Yeah, I think we're all aware that we have Sean Johnson, a new maintenance man. I'll say that I've met with him a couple times. He's reviewed a lot of things, I know, with John and with Gerald both, and myself, and I think he's doing an excellent job. You guys may hopefully agree with that. I think we've got a good man. It was a very good choice. So moving on, we'll go to information and technology. Gina Manker, Chair.
Although, Chairman, we didn't meet this past month, I know that the door project at the jail is going forward starting October 2nd, I believe. We will be meeting in October. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Move to Administrative Committee, which I'm the chair. I think that I'll be brief. I really think the training sessions that we had were excellent. I know that most of you attended, the ZBA and RPC members attended. I think two things that I took out of it. One was the explaining who would have to abstain from certain votes with the conflict of interest. That was explained very well, and I think we've got a better understanding on that. And I also think that the general public, when they have concerns, has learned that the presentation of those concerns should be at the ZBA, not at the RPC or even at the county board. You can come and express your public opinion, but it doesn't really affect I guess, what they're looking at RPC or what we're evaluating here at the ZBA is the key issue. So for the general public, I think that's at least what I got out of it. The ZBA is your main place to do that. So that concludes my report. If anybody has any questions. In that case, we're going to move to rules and regulations before Mr. Vietti talks. I do want to mention that Mr. Ritter, who's unable to attend, has asked for a motion to reconsider the August action item, the appointment of Marvin Hildy. He was on the prevailing side, and he can do that. So I'm mentioning that for him. He has a conflict at the moment. He's hoping to get here, but he's unable to attend. Before we move to rules and regulations, Mr. Hildy's here, so I'd like to ask Marvin to come up to the microphone and see if any board members have any questions for him before we do a motion to reconsider his appointment and then a motion for him to be appointed. So, Marvin, thank you for being here tonight. And if any board members have any questions for Marvin, I'll just tell you he's a lifetime resident of Livingston County. He's a farmer. He has a mechanic shop. He worked at Ramseyers for about 20 years, I'm going to estimate. And now he has his own practice. He's a hardworking guy, and I think he'd be a great appointment. But I'll leave it at that. So if you have questions as a board, please ask Marvin. He's willing to answer. Becca?
Hi, Marvin. Have you had your contract reviewed by our state's attorney?
No.
And what district are you in?
2, I believe.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Any other questions for Marvin? In that case, Marvin, thanks. You can have a seat if you'd like, and I'll turn it over to Rules and Legislation, Veterans Community Services, Jack Beatty, Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Carter. That's a lot. Thank you very much. I need a motion to reconsider the August action item to appoint Marvin Hilton. So moved by Mr. Hague. Do I have a second? By Mr. Earing. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, wait a minute.
So only someone who voted in the prevailing side can make the motion.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Gina, seconded by? Seconded by Marty Fannin. Any other discussion? Yes, Linda?
I will be voting no on this. I've even heard it, Mr. Hilty, that you are a very nice guy, but I am not here tonight to vote for a very nice guy. I'm here to vote for equal representation. We have 6 people, according to the website anyway, from District 2 already, and 3 of them are from the Dwight area. I just think we need to seek out other representation from the county to have it spread out more. Okay.
He's in District 3 to begin with.
Okay, so where do you live?
On the Emmington Road, 3 miles east of Solomon and 1 mile north.
Okay, so you are in District 3?
He's in
Yes.
3.
District 3.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
thought.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Now, this is
Wait.
for
This is-
reconsideration.
Yes.
Yes.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Fair,
Abstain.
Manker. Yes. Berkman, Ambrose,
Since you are in District 3, I will vote yes for you.
Fannin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
No.
Weller,
Yes.
Fidstom,
Yes.
Blacker,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Harley,
Yes.
Lovell,
Yes.
Ritter. He's absent. 14 ayes and 1 nay and 1 abstain.
Okay, then I need a second vote to make the appointment Marvin Hilty to the Regional Planning Commission. I need a motion by Mr. Hague, seconded by Gina Manker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Beatty,
Yes.
Hague,
Yes.
Fair,
Abstain.
Manker,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fannin,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Runyon,
Yes.
Mays,
No.
Weller,
Yes.
Fidstom,
Yes.
Blacker,
Yes.
Herring,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
And go.
14 ayes,
1 and
1 nay, and 1 abstain.
Okay, thank you. With that, that concludes my report. Chairman Carley, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Vietti. We'll move to the public comment. If we have any public comment, you can please come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Julie Fosdick. I live at 14530 East 1300 North Road, Pontiac. And I'm here to tell you some more about CO2 pipelines. I've learned this last week of some more activity with working on, with Wolf, working on getting more easements in Indian Grove and Belle Prairie Townships, I think. So they really are here. You don't want to get in the situation that the state of Illinois is in. The state of Illinois does not have good legislation for this. 2 pipeline companies have applied for permits to build these pipelines, and the only law they have to base their decision on is a law that was written for a specific project, which was FutureGen, which was a coal-fired power plant that was gonna burn Illinois coal, and then they were gonna capture emissions, and it never happened, okay? That is the only law they have, and unfortunately, if they give them a permit, they get unlimited eminent domain with it. Now, Navigator, in over a year's time, has managed to get 15% of what they need to build this pipeline in terms of right-of-way easements. That's a real concern, that we set a precedence and then people can come into this state and they can decide they want to build something, and they can take our land to do it, you know, because somebody thinks maybe that's a good idea. This past week, South Dakota, first a month ago probably, North Dakota denied Summit their permit in North Dakota. And that was the end of the pipeline, and they would have been sequestering that CO2 in North Dakota, just like both of these pipelines are planning to sequester in Illinois. They are reapplying. This week, this last week and this week in South Dakota, Navigator applied for a permit and they were denied that permit, and then Summit was denied this week. They didn't even go through the whole hearing because both of them failed to be able to get the pipeline across the state because 4 counties had adopted zoning ordinances, and they could not put their desired route in with the zoning that was in place, which is really interesting because one of the counties, Minnehaha, their setback was 330 feet from the closest edge of a residence. That certainly does not seem unreasonable to me. The other counties, I wasn't able to find all of them, but one of them had a 1,500-foot setback. I find that not unreasonable at all, but anyway.
Julie, your time's up. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to urge you, we really need a moratorium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more public comment?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Finn.
Jump on what she was talking about, is I talked about in meeting, is I was wrong. We can't do a moratorium, but we can do is file to do an intervention. And they are looking to come into this county, and they can do eminent domain, which takes the rights of our landowners away from them. So I still am pressing and still believe that we need to do something. What that looks like can be discussed by this body or by the committee that it falls under. But I believe in the best interest of our citizens and their land that we really need to do something. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Fannin. Anybody else have a comment?
I do.
Yes, Christie.
You'll notice that's on your desk, you have your green per diem sheets. Please go over those. If you have any changes, see me. Otherwise, you can keep them if everything looks okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Christie. I don't see we have anything for executive session tonight, so we're not going to do that. So motion by Vietti to adjourn, second by Fannin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next meeting Thursday, October 12th.